Assalamu alaikum, my dear students and my friends. I welcome you all in this lecture series. Basically, this lecture series is about how to read Michel Foucault because it is very important to understand him in terms of understanding different concepts in modern world. He has talked about different things and about many things in a different directions and in a different explanations. Basically, he was the power theorist. He has given a very new and different unique concept of power and resistance, knowledge and many other concepts as well, such as madness, reason, psychiatrics. So these are the concepts that we are going to explain in this lecture series. But before going deep into his analysis, we must explain who was he and what was his work and how he was thinking about different things. So we should know all these things about him first. So let's take a start with his introduction, that who was he. Let me change the slides. So first of all, we need to discuss him, that who was he. Michel Foucault was a philosopher of extraordinary talent and a political activist. He was a social theorist. He was a culture critic, creative historian, professor at the most prestigious academic institution in France, and a world famous intellectual who irreversibly shaped the way in which we think today. So he was a son of the prominent provincial family. His father was a successful doctor. Although Michel Foucault was a brilliant but emotionally troubled son of this doctor, of this physician. He was a tormented homosexual. He may have attempted suicide at the college, and he was going under the process of psychiatric care. So he so hated the French society that he fled a series of marginal posts in foreign countries, where he, however, failed to find the liberations he sought. Michel Foucault was fiercely independent and committed from the beginning to his work and other freedoms. His hatred of operations flared out in the midst of one of the most complex and erudite discussions. He saw even his most esoteric intellectual work contributing to the toolbox for those opposing various tyrannies. He was a greatest thinker. His critical project continued to inspire scholars, artists, political activists to find unprecedented way of constructing new form of thinking, as well as of smashing up old certainties, or as they often turns out to be, comforting illusions. Foucault conceived of his book as a toolbox that reader could rummage through, find a tool they needed to think and act with. Operating these tools, however, can evolve different questions of interpretations, in that use of a tool is always determined by the context and ultimately by the goal of our work. A rock can be used equally effectively for hammering and for smashing a window. To get closer to the Foucault intent, it helps if one is willing to question the ingrained social order and give up all the truth firmly fixed in a stone, whilst holding on to the fragile commitment to the freedom. The controversies that keep circulating around Foucault's work are partly because it can be used in many different ways. Its originality and appeal lies in its multifaceted nature. It does not provide a single theory or doctrine, but rather offer a diverse body of thought that consists of various analyses that are specific to the set of issues at hand. Imaginative and new uses of toolbox are essential goal when reading his work. Furthermore, it is nevertheless possible to find unifying strength in this multifaceted corpus without reducing it to a single theory or methodology. Freedom was guiding questions for Foucault throughout his philosophical career. His domain of studies was the social practice. His whole thought can be mapped out as a studies of different aspects of practice. The methodological feature of his thought, namely his innovative use of historiography as a philosophical method, also give his work a uniform and highly original character. Foucault was a philosopher who used history to understand contemporary society in order to change it in the directions of the greater freedom. Foucault, along with influential thinkers such as Jacques Derrida, Deleuze, and Kristeva, is usually classified as a post-structuralist, although he refused the label and claimed that he did not even understand what it meant. He nevertheless belongs to the generations of the French thinker who came to the prominence in 1960 after the exhaustion of existentialism. Existentialism and its most famous representative, Sartre, Mauritius, and Simone de Beauvoir, promoted the view of the philosophy primarily as the study of the human beings, his or her nature, the meaning of the human existence, and the limit of its possibilities. Post-structuralism, on the other hand, was characterized by the denial of the human being as the privileged object of the philosophical analysis, focusing instead on the social linguistics and unconscious determinants of thought. While Sartre had been the unrivaled king of the French philosophy up to the 1960s, Foucault and Derrida took his place in the decade that followed. The post-structuralists perceived the exhaustions of existentialism as a crisis of philosophical inquiry, and more generally of its traditional method. The thinking subject had been the foundations of the philosophical knowledge since Descartes and his famous cogito arguments, I think therefore I am. Given the failure of existentialism to account for the way that language constructs reality, the post-structuralists judged that the subject-centered philosophy had come to an end. To review the philosophy, radically new approaches were required. While Derrida developed his project of deconstructions that focused on the textual criticism of philosophical writing, Foucault turned to the history. He welded together philosophy and history in a novel way that resulted in an astounding critique of modernity. He called his work History of the Present. He attempted to chart the historical development as well as the conceptual underpinning of some key practice in the modern culture, such as the practice of punishing and treating those perceived to be mad. The studies shows the historically contingent and haphazard nature of this practice and their effect in a profound estrangement. The reader suddenly sees aspects of his and her culture that he or she previously took for granted as a curious and contingent, but also and significantly as intolerable and indeed of change. Foucault's work customarily divided into three distinct phases. The first phase, when he called the historical study archaeologies, is usually studied in 1960s. The main work of this period include History of Madness that was produced in 1961, The Birth of the Clinic also produced in 1963, and The Order of Things respectively produced in 1966. The Archaeology of Knowledge in 1969, the genealogical phase, genealogy being the favored terms for the Michel Foucault study of power, was in 1960 and encompasses his most widely read book, Discipline and Punishment, Discipline and Punish, 1975, and The History of Sexuality, Volume 1st, 1976, and The Final Ethical Phase, when Foucault turned to the ancient ethics and was in 1960, and produced the last two volumes of The History of Sexuality, The Use of the Pleasure and the Care of the Self, 1984, while each a tripartite schema undoubtedly make it easier for the beginner to come to the grief with Foucault's large concept. It is important to treat as heuristic or pedagogical model and not as a strict divisions. The three phases do not refer to the three different method or object of the study. The introduction of a new phase was rather marked by the introduction of the new axis of an analysis that result in a more comprehensive way. Beyond inspiring heated discussions among professional academics concerning the different ways of reading and interpreting his work, Foucault's thought has fed controversies in cultural debate on more general level. His idea of productive power, the power that produces an insight rather than repress and censor forms of experience and knowledge, has provided valuable tools for challenging conservative political view on sexuality, gender, delinquency, and mental illness. His thought has been an important source of intellectual and political inspiration for many gay activists as well as for other cultural radicals. Writing critical books on the topics such as madness, sexuality, and prisons would probably be enough to create an aura, and the environment of the subversions and controversies around a thinker. It is in his private life that perhaps stirred up the most violent storm. However, people who have never read or even seen a single book by him often knows about sensual aspect of his private life. He was a homosexual who died of AIDS, and he experimented with different drugs and sadomasochistic sexual practice. He spent a while in mental institutions during his youth, and he liked to speed around in a jog. It has been argued that this kind of a self-destructive limit experience provide a key to answering the questions of how to read his work. The problem with the reading his life is however, unlike his book, it does not provide us with any determinate text. All we have infinite array of fleeting events, contradictory accounts, and memories, in addition to the private thoughts and experiment that can never be accused or interpreted. In short, Foucault was a very famous in terms of different things. As I said that in the early part of this lecture, at the beginning of this lecture, that he was the power theorist, and he mainly thinks about, generally he thinks about different things, the basic, the most important work of history and archaeology, genealogy, but his famous work is power, resistance, knowledge, discourse. So these are the most famous concept that he explored. Sometime he developed a criticism or critique on the Marxists, because he gave the concept of power in a very different way, and Foucault defined power in a very new and unique way, that he believes that power is everywhere in the society. It comes from everywhere. It can be exercised by anyone. It cannot be held. No one can hold the power. No one can claim that he has only the power. The other people do not have any powers. So these are the views, and we are going to explain this view, we are going to elaborate this view in this lecture series. So please stay with us throughout this journey, and you will be able to know more about Michel Foucault. If you want to understand Michel Foucault completely and in detail, and you want to enjoy his difficult, convoluted writings and what he was trying to say, what he was his wish to deliver to us and show to us, so you have to watch all these videos and to follow us in this lecture series. So for today lectures, it's enough, and thank you for